What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our playoff quarterfinals match for the NCL or the Mombasa City League. We're taking on my good buddy Daniel and his Seattle Staraptors. Once again, we played him in the quarterfinals last season, in season 1 as well. And so this is sort of a revenge moment for him, especially since I 6-0'd him in our initial matchup in the season. Right before this, we played a Wi-Fi match where he crit me and won because of that crit. And so I was a little bit salty heading into this match and definitely looking for some revenge. This is a matchup where a lot of pressure was on me because every single person picked me to win this match in their playoff pick'ems, and I didn't want to let anybody down. I had the best record in the regular season, so I sort of had a lot to live up to here. So let's run through his team then. He has Zygarde 50%, which didn't come, Mimikyu, Metagross, which didn't come, and I'm really surprised about. Ditto, which didn't come, and again, I'm very surprised about. My whole team revolves around setup, and he didn't bring Ditto this time. Xatu, which I'm a little bit shocked about, but not super surprised. Mega Swampert, Jolteon, Volcanion, Scolipede, I expected all of those. I knew 100% Volcanion was coming for sure. And Rotom Frost, which I wasn't really expecting either. If you haven't seen my team builder, you should check that out. But if you want just a little quick rundown, I'll run through it quickly here. We are a Double Dance, Roost, Psychic, Psyche-MZ, Mew. Relatively physically defensive Kommo-o with Rocks, Roar, Dragon Pulse, Earthquake, fast Subseed with Leaf Storm and HP Ghost on Superior, because HP Ghost let me hit the Xatu and the Mimikyu and the Metagross really well. It was actually hilarious that HP Ghost actually worked out for once in my life. Alolan Ninetales, Scarf Alolan Ninetales with Veil 3 attacks, HP Fire there for the Metagross, which didn't even come. Mixed defensive, but leaning more towards the physical side. Melodic, which is my Volcanion answer. It also hard walls Swampert. And I'm a sub quick attack, Brick Break, Frustration, Mega Pinsir. I have Brick Break on there in case he was thingy. Screens, in case he was screens. This matchup, Earthquake would have 100% been better. He has 0 Earthquake answers. Yeah, everything takes it neutrally or super effectively on his team. And so I'm actually Mold Breaker Mega Pinsir, and I was hoping to be able to get an Earthquake off and be able to kill Mimikyu before I Mega Evolved, but that plan may not work out. So that's sort of what I'm going into this match with. So the initial plan, like I said in my team builder, was to lead with Double Dance Mew, just set up and like break his team. But he brought a very frail team. Like there's almost no fat on this team, and so I don't need to do that. I'm actually just going to lead Kommo-o because it handles either a Jolteon or a Scolipede lead, which is what I'm really scared of. The other lead that I could potentially see is like Canyon or like Swampert, but those are the two main leads I think, probably mostly Jolteon, and so I'm just going to lead Kommo-o as he's actually going to lead Scolipede. So, oh, actually I should point out, I actually did live record this, but I had my settings wrong, and so I had set it to this format that you see right now, which is battle replay, and here I'll just show you guys what the difference would be. So this is live battle, and this is battle replay. So in the live battle, this extends it so that you can see my team on the side, and so you couldn't see my team on the side at all to know what I had, and so I'm just re-recording this as a replay because it makes a lot more sense for me to do that to give you guys the best view possible. So, Kommo-o against the Scolipede, I figure my best play is probably just to get up Rocks. He brought Volcanion as a remover, I guess, and there's no Xatu, so I'm not threatened to not click Rocks here. And it puts the Volcanion on a timer and the Scolipede on a timer, which is what I really want to do. As he's actually just going to SD in my face, which I thought was a little bit strange, because now I can just roar. Not that he knows what set I was, but obviously I eat that Earthquake really well, and we bring up the Jolteon, which is kind of what I wanted to see, and we see Leftovers, which is actually very interesting too. I'm just going to switch into my Superior, which is my Jolteon Sponge. Leftovers means he's doing a lot less damage than I want to, and HP Ice there shows me that he's modest, which is what I was expecting. He doesn't have to run a ton of speed against me, but that's what, yeah, there you go. So I'm actually just going to click Leech Seed here. It makes the most sense against him. Get some HP back and get some chip damage on the Jolteon as he just HPSs again, and we see that I'm faster, which is kind of cool. So I'm running enough speed on the Surf to outrun Scolipede, which is max speed, essentially. Excuse me, neutral Scolipede, I will always be able to get a hit off if it's not +1 speed. Excuse me, that was the plan with Superior, but I outspeed the Jolteon, which is huge. That means he's probably speed creeping Alolan Ninetales, I would think, with the Jolteon, or he's not speed creeping anything and he's just running max HP, which is also another option. But because of that, I know that I can set up a sub in his face now, and he actually chooses to Volt Switch, which is huge for me because it means that I still have my sub intact. Volcanion comes out, takes the Rocks chip, and now I'm going to be able to get a Leech Seed off on it as it Flame Charges. So he does break my sub, but the Volcanion is relatively severely weakened now. It's actually, 37% weakened, which is pretty much the damage that Mega Pinsir needed for Frustration to kill it. Now, I was really debating here whether or not I'd be faster or not, and I'm actually still not sure if I would have been faster because of how much speed I was running, and Daniel tends to err on the side of running, like, no speed, and then just running speed boosting stuff, like Scolipede. I anticipated him to run no speed Scolipede and just run, like, Adamant Max Attack, max HP. Same thing with Volcanion, especially now that we see Flame Charge. I'm kind of anticipating myself to actually be able to get up another sub, but it's a lot safer for me to just go into Melodic, get my Flame Orb off. I think that's just my safest play. So I'm going to go into my Melodic, get my Flame Orb off here as he shows the Steam Eruption, doing about what I thought. Obviously, we know he's not Specs, and now I get my Burn off, and I got some recovery from the Leech Seed damage. Jolteon comes in on my Toxic. Toxic was the only way I had to beat the Volcanion, but I could have just stalled the Volcanion out. That was sort of the play with Melodic, was to be able to do that, because his best way to hit me was HP Electric, and it's only doing like 30% max since he's not Specs. Jolteon, definitely a good answer here. There was no way I was clicking Scald, so Jolteon was a relatively free switch in, but now that he's Toxic, he's not going to be super happy with me. I can go into my Kommo-o. Oh, sorry, I go into Ninetales, actually, as he's going to Wish. So we definitely see that he's a bulky variant with the Wish there. Wants most HP he can to pass and other things. I'm going to opt to get up my Veil because he's got a Wish in the air instead of clicking Freeze Dry or Blizzard. Blizzard might have actually been able to knock that thing out, but in comes the Politoed on my Veil. Reverses the weather, which I'm actually okay with. There was no upside to me having Hail except for the chip damage, but my team's also getting chipped, except I think... no, I opted not to run Overcoat Kommo-o, so yeah, my team's getting chipped too. So anyways, he goes for the Toxic on my Switch, which I thought was interesting? I don't know. There was kind of no downside to him just clicking Scald, I thought, because it's in the rain, but there you go. Either way, Serp gets in, and I'm kind of thinking, like, what's your answer to this? I'm a Serp behind Veil, but the Toxic chip is going to put me in range of Ice Beam plus Toxic here. As I just go for the Leaf Storm, Leech Seed might have been a better play. Leech Seed into Leaf Storm would have done a little bit more damage, but I am going to fall, and that gives me momentum to go into Mega Pinsir here. Mega Pinsir is in a spot where it gets to kill something. I did the calc because, the main thing that walls Mega Pinsir is a bulky Electric. So that's Jolteon in this case. And I did the calc. It's taking like 67% minimum from this Frustration. So I didn't realize in prep how good Mega Pinsir would be against his team. But it looks like it's going to smash him on paper. Now the Volcanion's weakened, I can Frustration it. And we know that he's not Scarf, so I outspeed it. There's no way he's ever going to get a chance to get another Flame Charge up against me. Mega Swampert's not a big threat to this. I calced it with Veil, and I live a Rock Slide. There's no way he runs Stone Edge. Just for context here, Daniel has missed so many moves this season that there is no way that he would run Stone Edge against me. He 100% has Rock Slide over Stone Edge. I know that for a fact. There's 0% chance that he's going to run Stone Edge. Scolipede is potentially in range of a Quick Attack from Mega Pinsir, and I'm not in range of a Rock Slide with Veil Up, so that's fine. Mimikyu with Veil Up, he's really doing nothing to me either. So all in all, it's kind of just a big waste for him here. And so I'm just going to be able to get to kill his Rain Setter in the Politoed, which means Mega Swampert turns into much less of a threat. Swampert's going to come in here. Again, like I said, I live the Rock Slide, so I get a big Frustration off as he's going to Brick Break, which was a good play if he thought that I was like Clay. But it actually turns out to be a really bad play because I was Scarf, and I only had that one turn of Aurora Veil left anyways, so Brick Break actually turned out to be really bad. So I get the big hit off here, and we see that he's not Damp Rock Politoed. Actually, we saw that he was Leftovers Politoed, which just lets me kill off his Mega Swampert. So Mega Pinsir putting in a lot of work here. Like I said, the Jolteon cannot switch in on me, but it should be faster than my Mega Pinsir. So if he brings in here like he does, then he does get a free switch because quick attack's not killing him. So I do have to switch here, and I'm going to opt to switch into my Kommo-o as he's going to volt switch on me again. He's going to bring in Mimikyu. Now, I figure my play is to just break his disguise here. So I'm going to go click Earthquake. And if he wants to sit up on me, then that's fine, because +2 Mimikyu isn't killing Pinsir. And Kommo-o is doing nothing, really, at this point in the game. Scolipede gets revenge killed by Pinsir. Actually, it's worthy to note that I do have to keep Pinsir alive if I want Scolipede not to just, like, sweep me. But, that's sort of what's going through my head. So I'm going to just click Earthquake as he's going to kill me with Play Rough. Good play on his part, really. There's no downside to that necessarily. Although Mega Pinsir gets to come in now and click Frustration, and this time he does switch in the Jolteon, which dies every time to that Frustration. It was dying to Frustration plus Quick Attack anyways. Scolipede comes in. I'm scared of the Rock Slide, so I switch to my Melodic, which is a very safe play to eat the hit. Takes no damage. And then I actually click Ice Beam. Trying to not let the Volcanion come in for free was really the play there for me. And now that he's +2, he can do a lot of damage, but I get a Scald off, knowing that he's like fine staying in on me, and I burn him. The burn didn't matter. I was sacking Melodic here either way, so the damage is relatively what mattered, although the damage from Ice Beam was enough to put it in quick attack range anyways, so realistically I'm just sort of like burning turns to get my Pinsir in for free. And he clicks Rock Slide there, which is actually a little bit questionable. I probably would have clicked X Scissor if I was him, so that he doesn't just miss Rock Slide, die to the burn, and then my Melodic's healthy to take on Mimikyu still. But there you go. He's gonna die. I get to bring in Mega Pinsir here for free as he goes Volcanion. Mega Pinsir gets to kill this thing with Frustration every single time, and then Mimikyu gets to come in. He's calling GG a little bit early because I'm not entirely sure about the rolls and if he gets like an attack drop or something on the Play Rough, but he does opt to just Play Rough me here. If he was Z, he might have been able to kill me, but Play Rough into Shadow Seek never killed me, and so I'm just going to be able to pick up the win. So, yeah, big win. Takes a lot of pressure off of my back. Well, not really, actually, because a lot of people have me winning the whole thing. So next week is actually going to be a huge pressure match because we play Ben in the playoff semifinals. Ben beat us in the regular season quite handily, I might add, and I'm looking to get some revenge. I want to make it back to the finals. Making top 4 is pretty big. Honestly, making top 4 is pretty big. Making semifinals in general is, good enough in terms of how I wanted to play the season. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of my team in general. I'm not a huge fan of the team, so it's not like I'm pigeonholed into anything necessarily here, but I am going to be trying to beat Ben quite handily. I'm going for the win. That's all I'm saying. It's semifinals. I'm going for the win. We take on Ben in the semifinals. And San Felipe Weasels, he did take down Matt and the Green Bay Isopods in quite a deciding, quite a handy match. Or handily defeated Matt in that game. A match that I thought was probably going to be the closest matchup of all of the playoff matches, and probably still, well, it wasn't actually, because Dom beating Cade was a 1-0. Either way, I'm done with my rambling. That's going to be for me, guys. I'll catch you guys next week for the playoff semifinals against Ben and the Tampa Bay Weasels.